Hello, dear YouTube Sangha. This is Dharma Peace again, joining you from a Zen temple in Mount Tsukuba. Today is a guided meditation called Metta Bhavana, which means loving kindness, the cultivation of loving kindness. And in this tutorial, we're going to use a technique that is my personal kind of spin on this particular form of meditation. Of course, as we all say, be seated either on the ground, on a cushion, in a chair, and begin to breathe through your nose. Sometimes you breathe in with your nose and out with your mouth. Because it's winter and I have kind of nasal issues, I like to try to breathe exclusively through my nose, part of my mindfulness practice. But I want you to pay attention to your breath. But don't worry, you can start taking deep breaths in and letting them out gradually, breathing in and out, in and out. Pay special attention to your abdominal area. You might call your abdomen or stomach the hara in Japanese. When you breathe in, feel it grow and expand. Breathe out. Feel it push up towards your lungs. The out breath exits naturally. The reason this particular technique is of my own is because I like to begin with a mindful and cognitive mantra that comes from the Pali Canon or the Pali language. Metta Bhavana means the cultivation of loving kindness, but both love and kindness have multiple dimensions. Within us is the capacity for doing harm, but also for healing. And it goes for both the inside world and the outside world. So often, we do things that either nurture us or harm us. Metta Bhavana is a cultivation, meaning to allow ourselves to grow this mental faculty, to have loving kindness. So we begin with a mantra that I have devised from the Brahma Viharas, which are the divine abodes. By abode we mean a mind state, a place for your mind to dwell, but also a place for others to dwell as well. Just like there's negative projection of negative attributes, there's also positive projection of positive attributes. The mantra begins with karuna, which means compassion. Breathing in, breathing out, you say karuna. This compassion is born from love for the self. You cannot give to others what you do not have yourself. If you do not have compassion for yourself, you cannot have compassion for others. Therefore, we cultivate karuna. Next is metta. Again, loving kindness. When we have karuna and compassion for ourselves and others, metta is like a hug. It's like how a mother embraces her child, how a father hugs his children. Metta can be extended to others, the same as karuna. And in fact, when we do this form of meditation, it will become beneficial in all ways. Breathing in and out. Metta. Next is mudita, which is sympathetic joy. It is the exact opposite of jealousy or envy. When we regard others, we can project our expectations of ourselves or the things we do not like about ourselves onto others and try to force it to be other people's responsibility. But ultimately, it's our own. So, when we cultivate mudita, again, it is sympathetic joy. We should want other people to do well and to be happy, because if they are happy, then we ourselves can be happy. The more joy there is, the more there is to share. Why not start with ourselves? Breathing in, mudita. Next is ahimsa, which means non-violence. In love, there's the other attribute that I feel is missing in declarations of love, is the vow to never commit violence to maybe a significant other, to yourself, to people around you in your proximity, period. A real show of love is an affirmative action to prevent harm to others, and that includes to yourself. There's no separation between self and other. Breathing in, ahimsa. And finally, there's upekkha, which is equanimity. It is the balance of our emotions, what we find important, who we regard as important and deserving of our loving kindness. It should be equal across the board, and that includes all sentient beings. So breathing in, upekkha. When I meditate in Metta Bhavana, I say these 5 attributes, or these 5 abodes, divine abodes, as a mantra. And then I allow it to fade and become my disposition to all sentient beings. Karuna, Metta, Mudita, Ahimsa, Upekkha. Now I encourage you to do the same. May you be happy and well. Namo Buddhaya.